And Anunnaki is supposed to be on this planet that he's referring to. Some people call it Planet X, also called Nibiru, also called Iris, and also called 2003, some other letters. What else is going on with that? Yeah, so there's a big fright with that 2012, because even when you refer to the Mayan calendar, it ends in 2012. It says it's supposed to happen December 25th, 21st, which is the winter solstice, 2012. But that particular date, because of the Gregorian calendar, that date is not exactly what we're going to think it is. It may be a few days before, after.
Yeah, actually, William Rutledge, the astronaut that was involved in Apollo 20, he said that the winter solstice of 2012 is not going to be the main period. Actually, they said, this is according to his calculation, that the planet's going to come make its closest approach in the autumnal equinox of 2012. Then it's going to come back around again in the the vernal equinox of 2013, when it's going to make its closest approach. It's not expected to hit the planet Earth, but just pass close enough to cause all kinds of disruptions, which happened last time. And this is the reason why you find, like, for instance, in the Arabian desert, they found sand that was fused together into glass. And that only takes place at high temperatures, and they found this scattered all throughout that desert, that there was something that took place around 1500 BC, also made Sahara Desert into desert. Because remember, the Sahara Desert, that was all fertile land at one time. There was a big lake there. They have stone carvings showing animals and people hunting and all kinds of stuff. It was all fertile land. So there was something major that took place. And this is the reason why you have underground cities that was built by our ancestors, because they would retreat to these underground cities. Now, when you look at the Twa and the Pygmy people, they survive everything. Their culture are older than 50,000 years, intact, never been changed. When you look at the Aborigines in Australia, their culture has remained intact as it is 50,000 years, which means the cataclysms that hit before, they survived, because they already living close to the land. So when the cataclysms hit, the major civilizations, ancient Kemet, Egypt, Atlantis, all that stuff falls, like what's about to happen now. And the ones that survive is the ones that what? Live close to nature. The Twa and the Pygmy, they see many civilizations come and go. Many civilizations come and go. And see, they may preserve a secret, because they are the ones, see, remember, our people, our ancestors, we're not just a seafaring race, which means navigating the seas. We are a spacefaring race. We've been navigating heavens. We travel the heavens, terraforming planets, just like in that movie Star Trek, where they would terraform planets, take a dead planet, hit it off with certain things, and generate life. So when you hear about the Ark, like Noah's Ark, where they brought 2 of each animal and so on and so forth, they wasn't talking about so much the physical animal, but the genetics that was involved. And so you can almost visualize like a massive cargo ship, like the one they found on the moon, traveling around the universe, terraforming planets. That ship that they found up there may have actually terraformed the Earth from there. Some say that the moon itself is not a natural satellite. It's an artificial satellite. Think about it. You think it's a coincidence that we only see one side of the moon all the time? That even though the Earth is turning, the moon is turning, they turn in such a synchronization that we only see one side. We never see the other side? After hundreds of thousands of years? You think that's a coincidence? You think it's a coincidence that when we have a solar eclipse, that when the moon passes in between, this is the Earth, this is the moon, and this is the sun, that when the moon passes between the Earth and the sun, that it covers up the sun exactly, perfectly? It's the exact distance and the exact size to cover it up exactly? You think that's a coincidence?
There's a brother named Christopher Knight. He wrote a book called Who Built the Moon? And it speaks about that at the ancient.
There's a gentleman named Christopher Knight. He wrote a book called Who Built the Moon. He also wrote a book called Civilization One and the Hierarchy. And it talked about the relationship that the Earth has to the moon and who might have built it, because of the sun is the largest thing in the universe, in our universe. And it is so much larger than the sun and than the Earth and every other planet in our galaxy, that it's almost impossible for the moon, which is only a small percentage of the size of the Earth, to blot it out. So it's mathematically constructed to be in that perfect position to be blotted out by the sun.
And there's no other satellite in this whole solar system like the moon, like our moon. All the rest of them are rocky, potato-shaped looking things or whatever. Nothing like our moon. And something else that was weird, when they launched from the moon and the thing hit the moon rung like a bell. Like, boom, it rung like a bell. No, not a coincidence. Also, I got clips, pictures showing how NASA airbrushed out of the pictures that we see all the structures that was found on the moon. Towers that was miles high, buildings, whole cities, you can actually see where they smudged it out in the images. Oh yeah. And vegetation, atmosphere on the other side, there's clouds, vegetation, everything. On the side that we don't see, there's so much going on that other side you wouldn't believe. That's why we don't see. That's why we're not allowed to see that side. You got all kinds of things going on the other side.
Brother Hakeem, in 1972, when they sent the Viking explorer to Mars originally, they found pyramids of Mars. So that gives credence to what you.
There's a brother. Did you see the picture of the brother on Mars?
Yes.
With the locks?
Yes.
I tell you, super strange in that picture. I know people's hand like, what is Brother Hakeem talking about? Brother, they got a picture of a brother on Mars with locks? They found a spaceship on the moon with a system with locks? This stuff is out there. See, the beautiful thing about the internet, right? For all those who are whistleblowers, who work in these different agencies or whatever, and don't like what's going on, the internet is the perfect vehicle for them to drop it. You know what I'm saying? And remain anonymous. And so, if you know how to search the internet properly, you'll find all kind of jewels. You just gotta know how to discern, you know what I'm saying, the truth from the falsehood. But it's all, I found some things on there. You know what I'm gonna start doing? I'm gonna start putting together compilations on DVDs or CDs or just all the crazy stuff that I found just on the internet. That's just on there. Because there's some the other thing I wanted to mention today, before I forget, you want to say something?
Yes. Just to show that what we're saying is not crazy or whatever. And this was my first experience dealing with, as you said, UFOs or whatever, because I never paid too much credence to it. And I was on the bus about in 2000, and there was a gentleman there, a brother, who was programming MS-DOS into a laptop. And we got to talking or whatever, because I noticed what he was doing. And he said, yeah, I used to work for NASA. He said, back in 1986 when they had the Star Wars thing, he said, I was one of the engineers who was programming the code for the computers to control the satellites they sent up. Now, what he told me was, they used a 286 instead of a 386 because the 286 is actually more stable. And they found, essentially, the spaceship that was described with Elijah Muhammad. Whatever, 18 miles wide or whatever it was or whatever. And it was full of black beings that were melanated. They showed all this across Europe, but of course it was blacked out in the U.S. So he said it's weird because all the rest of the world knows UFOs exist. In the U.S., they're still trying to keep it. They're still trying to keep it squat.
Disclosure. Before I forget, I want to mention something real quick. Remember the last time I spoke, I mentioned Red Button Day. And I mentioned that how Red Button Day was the day that they was going to launch the LHC, the Large Hadron Particle Collider in Europe, that's on the border of Switzerland and France. That's 17 miles circumference. And this is supposed to collide particles and create many black holes. And I remember I mentioned how there was what they called a doomsday suit, where people brought lawsuits trying to fight against it, but they said it's going to create a black hole that would engulf the whole Earth. So they was trying to stop it from being launched. And I also mentioned that